Tuesday, January 28th, 2025 at 5:30 p.m. in the unit office conference room, 500 North 10th Street, Herrin, Illinois, 62948. If everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mrs. Hastings, if you would please call roll.
John Hutchinson?
Here.
Susie Etherton?
Here.
Daniel Kay?
Here.
Kelly Green?
Here.
Steve Young?
Here.
Dave Lau?
Here.
At this time, we would recognize anybody who would like to address the board. When recognized, that person should give their name before making their comments. Statements are asked to be limited to 5 minutes in duration. Would anybody like to address the board at this time? If not, we'll move forward. We need a motion, a second, and a roll call vote to accept and approve items listed and not extracted from the consent agenda presented on January 28th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Daniel Kay? Yes. John Hutchinson?
Yes.
Kelly Green?
Yes.
Dave Lau?
Yes.
Susie Etherton?
Yes.
Steve Young?
Yes.
I believe we have someone here to address our construction update. Is that correct?
Fred Kaiser, A.T. Mitchell.
We talked earlier this week. We should be done with all the kitchen and, well, let me take that back. With the cafeteria area, the kitchen supply people are back and they're installing sinks and stuff like that. Now the plumbers will be coming back to install or actually hook everything up. So they probably got, I'd say, a week or so to get all that done, finalize that part of it. But as far as our part is you guys can probably have it by the end of the week. I'm going to try to get Steve in there to do it. We'll start a punch list.
Yeah, I think we got a meeting
With
Thursday.
the exception of the outside of the building. The outside of the building, of course, the roofers are, talked to them today, and they're coming back to measure all the coping around the building. As far as dried in, it's completely dried in. It's all done with the exception of the metal around the edges. We did find the one leak, which they addressed that. It was on the part that we just did on the existing roof.
Right.
That part, like I said, that's a big hurdle to get that all done. The the gymnasium, half of it by Friday will have all the orange on. So basically that will be completely done. The other half, probably by midweek, we'll have it completely done because we're moving all the stuff that's bleachers and all that stuff from one side to the other to get it to where they can do all the work and get it taken care of. So as soon as that's done, all the goals and all that stuff will start going up. I've already got scheduled for them to come in and start doing all that. So here pretty quick, we should be getting everything going. The biggest thing, like we talked about, is the floor.
Drive it on the outside on the east
I
side.
just started back today.
So they're able to get that going today. Good.
So we'll be able to get the windows in.
Right.
I'm hoping by the first of the week.
Okay. So now
all
we got.
I gotta do is get a brown coat on that so we can actually put the flashing for the window.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's a big. I'm just glad the weather finally broke.
Yeah, the weather froze that outside.
Holidays and weather just killed us there for the outside stuff. But we were able to keep going on the inside.
Yeah. Yeah, kitchen supplier, they shipped stuff at the end of December, 1st of January. There was a few items that they did not have done yet, and that's what we've been waiting on to finish up in the kitchen.
Yeah, still countertops and sinks and stuff finally showed up today.
Yeah.
Welders are supposed to be coming in, I think, tomorrow from what the installer was saying, to weld them all up so we can actually start installing faucets and stuff like that.
So it's actually a usable building to the district when?
Once we've gone through and we've checked off everything, covered punch list items on that cafeteria kitchen part, we'll have a meeting next Thursday, which is kind of where Brad's alluding to. We could be at that point in time ready to say we're close to letting the district into it if we find everything satisfactory.
And so from that, is it envisioned that there would be any activity in the building at that point?
I probably wouldn't push right now to make that available space just because it's not a real natural transition time. We'll probably look at like around spring break.
Really? Okay.
Just for a natural transition over to that cafeteria kitchen area. I'll talk with Brad and Ryan a little bit more, Brad and Ryan are at the junior high girls game tonight. So, but we've talked about it and kind of staged and planned for it. But yeah.
You're going to have any kind of ceremony or anything?
Once we get the whole facility finished, yeah, absolutely. We'll have an open house ceremony kind of thing. And yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you bet.
Schedule a ribbon cutting.
Yeah.
And I am pushing to get the sidewalk done too. I talked to him.
Oh, good. Thank you.
So he's trying to get back in here and get his guys back. Of course, everybody with the weather and stuff, they all,
Is that gonna be re-fenced? Is that part of the design once the
The back
landscape-
playground area.
Yeah, once the landscaping is done, is that gonna be re-fenced or something?
We'll have everything. I don't know if we have a
There's
fence.
fencing along the basketball goals.
There's one part of it
There's
that's
actually
fenced.
Some area in the back where there's, 3 basketball courts?
Yes.
So there's gonna be fencing between that and the parking lot.
Right.
That, but I don't think
I
the whole
don't
thing
think the
is a-
east end is fenced. I
No.
think it's just right there on that one spot to keep balls from going out in the parking lot.
Is it gonna be usable as a ball field again? Or?
Not.
enough.
Well, we leveled it off. Well, I mean, it's gonna be pretty gradual, but I don't know. If
You can play some catch, but it's not like
Yeah.
wide open ball field anymore.
We did cut it down almost 2 foot because with the parking lot when it went in.
Yeah.
And once we got it graded and the basketball goals, there was gonna be a 2-foot drop from what was there. So we've actually got that cut down. There's actually a yard drain now.
We actually put more parking. So where the gym and kitchen are, we took that parking lot out. Obviously, it's now a building. So what we try to do is add some more parking back in on that backside. So what would really be a grassy lot from the street all the way over to the existing building, that square, a third to half of that's going to be parking lot.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Well, thank you.
all right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brad.
Moving on to adopt for the Vision 2030, Mr. Wilson.
Yeah, I talked last month about Vision 2030. Some of you are around for Vision 2020. Remember that. That was an instrumental piece in getting us our evidence-based funding formula in the state. Vision 2030 has a lot of similar items. Priority funding. Basically, let's keep EBF going, keep the public funding going for schools like it is. And future-focused learning. That's working on making sure our schools throughout the state and our state leaders are focused on getting students prepared for the future, keeping students safe, getting high quality teachers, retaining the high quality teachers, and then also part of that's the accountability system that goes along with that, making sure the accountability system is something that's practical and easy to use. So it's just an offensive effort by school leaders throughout the state of Illinois to present to the public and to our state government to say, hey, here's what we want to do as public schools. So this board resolution is something that schools across the state are adopting just to show the support and rally the support from throughout all corners of the state of Illinois. So that's what we have tonight is adopt a board resolution to approve the support of the board for Vision 2030.
So, do you need any voting from us at this point in time?
I just need to adopt that resolution. Yeah, approve the adoption of that resolution.
Okay, so we need a motion and a second to approve the resolution for Vision 2030 from Mr. Wilson.
So moved.
Second. Steve Young,
Yes.
Dave Loud,
Yes.
John Hutchinson.
Yes.
Kelly Green.
Yes.
Susie Anderson. Yes. Daniel Kay.
You got the fire group, she didn't put that in there. Okay. Special reports for our student and faculty, starting with the pre-K. The pre-K had a wonderful turnout for their Winter Wonderland program. They had 160 people that attended that. Also, they have 6 pre-K students that have perfect attendance for year to date. And for the month of January so far, they have 12 pre-K students with perfect attendance. We want to say congratulations to Layla for being the terrific Tiger for January. At the Herrin Elementary School, 468 out of 710 students have perfect attendance for December. On December 19th and 20th, families were invited to see the end of semester projects completed by the students. And Mrs. Janae Simmons and the music department organized a musical event for the Herrin Elementary students from the group Waveform. At the junior high school, December 9th, the junior high band and chorus a concert was held in Memorial Gym. The chorus students went caroling at area nursing homes and assisted living facilities. The dance team has twice received a qualifying score for their lyrical routine during regional competition and has accepted an invitation to compete at the IDTA state finals on February 15th in Springfield. And last but not least, girls basketball. On January 16th, the girls basketball team won the SIJHSAA Region 1 championship against Carbondale. The team also won their quarterfinal game in the state tournament play at Wren Lake College in overtime, 38-37 over Hamilton County, and they are playing right now against Mount Carmel at the state tournament. So go Tigers. And then at the high school, the boys basketball team beat the Carterville Lions in the championship game of the 2024 El Dorado Holiday Tournament. Jared Staple was named to the all-tournament team, and Kyrie Slukins was named tournament MVP.
That was the 4th year in a row for that, by the way.
Yes, it was.
Mhm.
It's a 4-peat. The Herrin High School flag and dance teams will be competing at the IDTA state competition in February. Boys bowling hosted the IHSA regionals and placed third. They're headed to sectionals on January 22nd. And then the wrestling team placed 11th out of 21 teams at the Carmi Invite. And the Tiger Wrestlers also participated in the Carmi JV tournament. So congratulations to all of our Tigers. Keep up the awesome work. Moving on to new business. We need a motion and a second and a roll call vote to approve the 2025 high school graduation date for Saturday, May 10th, 2025 at 6 p.m.
So moved.
Second. Kelly Green.
Yes.
Daniel Kay. Phoebe Anderson.
Yes.
Dave Welch.
Yes.
Steve Young. John Hutchinson.
Yes.
Moving on to the district facilities, Mr. Wilson has some information for
Yeah,
us.
a couple of new pieces. Well, one's a little older, one's a little bit newer. Tiger Wellness Center, we had bid that out last spring, and it came in well over $900,000. We held off on that because the grant only gave us about $320,000. The district was due to bid or put in about another $40,000 on that. So that's $360,000 of money. $900-something thousand was the bid. I didn't feel like it was a good idea to cover that gap as a district for the Tiger Wellness Center. We rebid that project again, we tweaked a few things. We looked at some other options. It still came in about $950,000 was the bid for the Tiger Wellness Center. That came in almost 2 weeks ago. So we still have the same amount of grant money currently that exists. Still have that big $600,000 gap. What we're currently looking at is, can we get some other grant funds, private donors to cover that distance between our money we currently have reserved in grants and the bid amount. We don't have that finalized yet. I don't have any recommendation for the board tonight. My recommendation, if we don't get this other funding, I don't see how we can move forward with the Tiger Wellness Center. That's just putting that out there tonight. So
Does that the grant, does that presuppose or does it contemplate a physical building being erected for that purpose? Or is it something where it could be leased? In other words, we could rent or lease?
we have to have a new facility for that. We've examined like repurposing spaces and projects and doing other items, kind of what you're suggesting. And we can't do that. They want a new structure to be built, is the way the DRA grant, which is the original grant piece we applied for, how that all comes together.
Any other questions for Mr. Wilson?
What's the time frame of that?
The time frame for,
Like, at some point, you would be able to use
well,
it.
we have a deadline. So I'm meeting with the DRA grant people tomorrow to have a discussion about our timeline, because we should have this building done in a year from now. We're going to meet tomorrow and see if we can get them to give us an extension to allow us some more time to try to secure some more private funding for it. That's our goal. And really, Doc, by at the next board meeting, we'll have to know what we're doing, or our time will be up.
So, and again, just to clarify, is that well defined, the new structure? So it could not be a renovation of an existing structure?
It's got to be new building. However, I will point out that it is a federal fund right now, and we are on pause.
Every federal grant.
So right now, that might be a benefit for us.
Yeah.
Because they can't even give us money.
President Trump put a pause on every federal grant today, which that does impact us. Everybody believes it's a short-term type of thing.
90 days right now, right?
That's what we're being told. But what is that message a little deeper? We could probably get into some weeds on that it's just the first step of a bigger push to not allocate the money the way they do now from the Fed straight to the schools that flow through the state, which is kind of a bad deal, because if it's going to go through the state, they're going to charge shipping and handling. And that's probably going to be 8 to 10%. And a little bit more will come off of that. Instead of going to schools, it'll stop at the state level. So more remains to be seen on that. But yeah, that is a federal grant that is on pause. So that might play into our hands a little better right now, since that is the DRA is a federal grant. But yeah, so basically just wanted to update everybody. We did rebid it. We tweaked everything's coming back the same. It just is what it is with all the mechanical plumbing and everything that's going into that building. Seems to be the price tag. It wasn't a fluke last time.
What was the reason for that was, did I recall that it had there was some workaround that was gonna inflate the cost?
There was a
remember
sewer
that?
line that we thought maybe was gonna be really, if we could get it from being over a current sewer line and having to move that sewer line, that we would save. But when we looked at other options, it wasn't so much that was the cost. It was just the facility itself is just where the
Really?
money's at. Yeah. It would have saved us a little bit, but when you try to move it in other places and reconfigure it, there were other issues we ran into. So it really just didn't work out. Yeah. Yeah, we explored some different options last fall on it, which is why it took a few months to
It would
rebid
be
it.
interesting if we were even close, but that seems like a gap that's so substantial. If it's gonna require, and there's no way that we're gonna be able to, I don't see the district actually ponying up the gap just to.
No, sir.
have that
No,
qualifying
sir. It'll all be private donations funded from other.
If it is to happen.
If it is to happen, correct. Yes. I could not recommend that to the board.
No, for sure.
That's a lot of organization if that thing comes through, and it could be, I don't know if it's gonna be worth the money,
Well,
even if we pony.
From the
up that
personnel
money.
standpoint, we won't have to run that.
Well, I know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But you're gonna have to have transportation from the school to there for the kids from all four
But
schools.
that won't be on us. That will all be on the Shawnee Health, who will be the
Yeah, but
operating
I'm just
inside
talking
of it.
about taking kids out of class and,
We won't be doing that. That will be
well, I
on
know,
Shawnee
but
Health.
it's still our kids coming out of the class.
Well, just the same that their parents would come and pick them up to take them to the doctor. Now we would have the ability to do that within the district, and it's the same kind of stuff we're already dealing with. It's just we'll be transporting them to a district facility, which might actually improve some things.
Is it gonna cost the district any additional money to continue to pursue this? I know we're sunk into it 40,000, I think. you
Yeah,
mentioned that.
no, I mean we're at this point in time where we are, what we've put into it, that's where we will be. Yes, as far as investigating, planning, architectural fees, things like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Val, you were wanting to share something else along those lines?
So in reference to the transportation, actually, we have right now where admin has to leave the building to take students back home when parents can't pick up their students that are sick. So this is actually gonna help benefit them, and we won't have admin leave, because Shawnee Health will then step up and then take that student home. And we have the transportation. The second element of that is safety. They have cameras and vehicles that have car seats and are established, so it's not personnel, it's not our personal vehicles that are involved. So if an accident happens with that student, it's not our personal vehicle that's being used, it's actually Shawnee Health and a Shawnee Health employee. So that's one aspect. Two, we have reached out to federal or some private funding. We won't know until 30 days out. It's already been requested. And additional funding, there will be some additional funding because we do have architectural fees that have to come through that we haven't paid yet. But on top of that, there's the additional fee that we had to use for using Greater Egypt, which is.
So Shawnee Health, are they completely liable insurance-wise for all those students?
Because they have taken the student from our school district and they have.
Or where are they getting their money?
Through a
They
grant?
get their money from another grant that we cannot get.
Mhm.
So on their element, they get their money from their federal grant. In addition to, once that sustainability element comes in, which is insurances, billing, all of that, that pays for them so they can maintain it. They just need that initial funding from their grant that they're already in the process of. Our end was just making sure that there was a building available. That is only our
So
requirement.
just to follow up, we're under the impression that $40,000 from district funds have been appropriated to just kind of develop a proposal to this point. Are you saying that some of those additional bills or invoices just that haven't been, or they already calculated into that $40,000
So
figure?
we're actually at $60,000, and that was to cover architectural fees, and that was just architectural of the first bid, and we are a little bit over that with the second bid. In addition to that, we also have to pay Greater Egypt, because originally Greater Egypt would have came out of this funding that we would have never had to pay, but if we deny the money, then we have to come up with that money.
And how much is that?
It's $7,150.
So 67,000 total is basically our exposure right now, just sunk cost. Is that right?
Give or take, I mean, I can add up.
Not including labor and all the other
Yes.
Yeah.
partner around, but 67. Oh, well. Don't want to do it if you don't have to, but I guess that's,
It would be great to have, but I mean, that,
yeah.
There's a lot of
over
positives.
$500,000 to spend of your own money, that's a lot of money.
Over that, right.
Yeah.
Another piece looking at district facilities is this unit office. We've known for a while, we've had some roof issues. They really came to light in this last few weeks with the ice that set on the roof and melted and opened up new showers in the building that we weren't planning on. Cassie's office has been just a constant siege. It's been a leak. You got to keep in mind it's coming through the roof, coming through the second floor, and then coming into Cassie's office. There's other spots throughout the building. But Mr. Harlow over there, we've got one. So if you look at the building envelope in itself, it's a very, very much leak happy. To replace the roof, we're guesstimating at least $300,000 to get a new roof on the entire place. That's just a starting point. There's a lot of other things that need to be addressed from just the floors have no insulation in them, the freezing. The windows are very poor throughout the building. We probably pump a lot of air just right through this building because of the inefficiency of that. Another area of concern is the gym. The gym roof alone probably is going to run us somewhere in the neighborhood of $115,000 just to get that up to par. And that actual gym space in itself has a lot of storage potential. Spending that kind of money on that facility, I don't know if that's the wisest idea. I'm not looking for any answers tonight, just kind of starting to paint a picture. We are going to have to make some decisions about roofing. We can piecemeal the roof out. Let's just say we did this section of the roof and it's $30,000. We did the office section of the roof. There's maybe another $50,000. So there's some different options that we can look at. I've worked with Steve Sims. He's brought in a couple of structural engineers. And otherwise, we've done some walkthroughs, done some conversations. He's getting some more information together for me on possibilities, scenarios, what it looks like. But we are probably sooner than later going to have to make a decision. Are we just going to start repairing roofs here at the minimum? This facility is not one we just want to bulldoze the whole thing down because that's not what I'm after. Maybe the gym, get that going.
Yeah.
I could build some storage much better than what the gym is
Are there, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but are there any, talking about grants, are there any grants that might be available for purposes of repurposing some of the facility? Because this is, you're saying the bones, and this has got good bones, and it's got good structure.
It's probably a little harder to come by. I'm not going to say never because I'm not deep in grant world like Val is, and she probably has something she's thought of. But typically speaking, just for repurposing, maybe because it's a historical building, maybe we could get into something like that. Yeah.
I think with historical grants, is that we have to have a historical society declare that this
Right.
building is historical, a brand new business to the city.
Yeah.
That requires somebody else to do that, not us.
Yeah.
But with that being said, there is capital funding, but as we know, we keep looking, capital funding is very hard to come by,
Exists.
and it is very selective oftentimes. We have continued to look for that capital grant for various projects we have.
Yeah. It's just not readily available, typically speaking, because we also don't house students here. It's an office.
Could we
And
possibly, go ahead, Mr. Wilson.
No, I say really, it's hard. I mean, it's hard to say let's put money into the unit office when we have student needs. I mean, that's always something. But we're also at a point where we've got to make some decisions about this office
Well,
too.
there had been at one point with discussion about the district doing its own special ed. We have classroom space up there. I mean, you do have usable space up there for classroom. Now, we've already made the determination for the preschool, and I totally get that. We made the pitch in with that, but there's plenty of usable space. Now, if we're going to talk about investing in, I guess what I'm saying is I don't necessarily think that additional money should be spent on this building unless you really know if you're gonna get your return on it, even if it's a roof.
And that's what we're asking for right now from engineers and such. Is the
Right.
return on investment, is that something that's worth it? And then possibilities and scenarios like what else could we use this space for in it? Because there is a lot of space here in
Right.
addition to what its current use is.
And I think you gotta draw that out, at least have some concept of the operation of what you would envision
Right.
its use,
And that's the conversations that Steve and I have had, just recently, and just need some time to work on it. But again, not just starting to paint that picture, and I'd welcome a sit down conversation with you.
We have a building committee, right, I think,
Yeah.
right? Don't we?
Yes.
I'm sure there is one. I'm not sure who it is right now.
It's been a minute. I
It's
know.
been a minute since we've visited that.
There should be like
I'm on it.
plant, property, and equipment.
Yeah.
I know
But-
I'm on it.
But I'll continue to get information to you on that, and if you want to come sit down and talk with me about ideas like, we walked through earlier tonight and just have a conversation, that's great. That's what I'm looking for. So just wanted to put that out there tonight. No action, nothing else. That's all I have on facilities on the screen.
Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Wilson in that regard? If not, we need a motion, second, and a roll call vote to close the meeting in accordance with Section 122A of the Open Meetings Act, citing the following exceptions as contained in Section 122C, to discuss student disciplinary cases, adopt closed minutes, discuss appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance evaluation, and dismissal of specific employees, and to discuss litigations.
So moved. Second.
Steve Young.
Yes.
Dave Lau.
Yes.
John Hutchinson.
Yes.
Kelly Green.
Yes.
Yes. Daniel Hay.
Yes.
So moved.
Second. Suzie Atherton.
Yes.
Steve Young.
Yes.
John Hutchinson.
Yes.
Daniel Hay.
Yes.
Kelly Green.
Yes.
Dave Lau.
Yes.
Need a motion, a second, and a roll call vote to adopt the closed minutes of the meeting held December 17th, 2024.
So moved.
Second. John Hutchinson.
Yes.
Dave Lau. Steve Young. Suzie Atherton.
Yes.
Daniel Hay.
Yes.
Kelly Green.
Yes. We need a motion, a second, and a roll call vote to approve the following personnel recommendations as presented. For resignation, Whitney Williams as a reading aide for Northside Primary Center. For employment, Madison Ladd as a reading aide for the elementary school. Riley Kristowski as an assistant boys track coach for the high school. Jennifer Dickerson as the attendance secretary for the high school. Alec Aldrighetti as a custodian for the district. And vacancies, reading aid to be posted for Northside Primary Center.
So moved.
Dave Lau.
Yes.
Suzie Atherton.
Yes.
John Hutchinson.
Yes.
Kelly Green.
Yes.
Daniel Hay.
Yes.
Steve Young.
Yes.
Need a motion, a second, and a roll call vote to accept the superintendent evaluation as presented.
So moved. Second.
John Hutchinson.
Yes.
Suzie Atherton.
Yes.
Daniel Hay.
Yes.
Kelly Green.
Yes.
Steve Young.
Yes.
Dave Lau.
Yes.
We need a motion, a second, and a roll call vote to approve the substitute pay increase as presented.
So moved.
Daniel Hay.
Yes.
John Hutchinson.
Yes.
Kelly Green.
Yes.
Dave Lau.
Yes.
Suzie Atherton.
Yes.
Steve Young.
Yes.
We need a motion, a second, and a roll call vote to adjourn until the next regular meeting of the Board of Education scheduled for Tuesday, February 25th, 2025 at 5:30 p.m. in the unit office conference room, 500 North 10th Street, Herrin, Illinois, 62948.
So moved.
Kelly Green.
Yes.
Daniel Hay.
Yes.
Suzie Atherton.
Yes.
Dave Lau.
Yes.
Steve Young.
Yes.
John Hutchinson.
Yes.